Welcome to the Respectful Divorce Podcast. If you're considering a divorce, it's important to know that you have options for how you divorce. On the Respectful Divorce Podcast, we explore those options and provide advice from divorce professionals. On today's edition of the Respectful Divorce Podcast, we're talking with members of Divorce Well Knoxville. Joining us today are Melanie Hogue, an attorney, and Emily Hurd, a divorce coach and mental health professional. Thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So let's ask, first of all, a simple question. Divorce Well Knoxville. What is that? What does that mean? Melanie?
Well, we are a collaborative divorce group, but we realize that our clients' needs might be a little bit more than just collaborative cases. So Divorce Well Knoxville is a way to engage other professionals and maybe have them be associate members of our group that can provide services to our clients. And also it's maybe a divorce that doesn't need a full collaborative, but maybe needs a cooperative divorce, maybe two attorneys that are collaboratively trained that can help them resolve their divorce in a way that, again, our goal is for them to have a divorce that leaves them with something they can live with and not have to readdress certain issues. And so we just want to give our customers and our clients as many opportunities and methods to resolve their divorce in a way that it leaves them with a positive outcome that they can live with.
So Emily, divorcing well, how do you divorce well? Is there, and can you really do that?
Great question. And the answer I would say is absolutely yes, you can. With the right approach and the right mindset by the clients who choose to divorce in ways that are more amicable, more solution-oriented. They want to get to the other side of this big life event with some of their relationships intact. They want to be able to co-parent well. They want to be able to support their children through the transition and establish a new normal pretty quickly. There are a lot of people out there who want to approach divorce in this way, and then they find themselves getting sucked into the litigation route of divorce, especially if the lawyers that they initially meet with don't educate them on the many ways that they can get divorced outside of litigation. And so it's important that, one, the people have the right intention and the mindset to do this. And then two, you surround yourself with the professionals who also adopt that mindset, that we are going to help you get through this difficult time in a way that doesn't destroy your family.
So, Emily, as the professional in a case, as a divorce coach, what does that mean that you do?
Yeah. So the divorce coach has a lot of different roles that they play within a case. First and foremost, it is helping the two adults communicate well throughout this process, kind of being a facilitator of communication for the two adults and then the other members of the team. One way that I like to describe a divorce coach's role is as a project manager. So someone who is making sure that all the steps are happening from start to finish in a case and strategizing the timeline for those things so that it helps lower the anxiety about what's happening next and where are things going to go and when are things going to be resolved for the clients. There may be some mental health issues that I help the clients with. Divorce is a high time of stress and anxiety and grief, and there's a lot of emotions going on. So I help them process those in a way that keeps them moving forward. And then I just help the team function well throughout our time together so that we can keep everything moving forward and stay solution oriented.
I was just going to add, as the project manager is a great label. When I've had divorces, collaborative divorces, the divorce coach is really instrumental in making sure when we leave one meeting, we have another one scheduled, that we know what topics are going to be covered, and it helps keep the clients grounded in what to expect next. Which again, taking out the unknown is very helpful in getting through this process.
So, Melanie, as an attorney, you're trained to go into court and fight for some positions. How is your role as an attorney in a collaborative case different from the mindset that you have going into court?
Well, it is a very cooperative type of effort. Like for instance, instead of expecting that I'm going to have to drag financial details out from the other side, I know that both attorneys that are trained collaboratively, we're going to work with a financial neutral who is going to evaluate the information and provide it to both of us. And I don't have that kind of a fear going into it that it's going to be difficult to get that information, because we all agree to it once we start. The other thing is, and again, the divorce coach is really helpful about making sure when you step into the role as a collaborative attorney, you are still advocating for your client. You are not losing that role that you play, but you're doing it in a way to help them achieve the goals that they've set. And those goals are to reach a resolution. So you're still advocating, you're still representing their interest, but you're doing it in a way to achieve goals that they've designated, rather than coming into it assuming the other side is going to be aggressive and not participate well in the process.
So you mentioned the financial neutral. What does a financial neutral do as part of the collaborative team?
Initially, what we will do, like we have to sign an agreement, and part of that agreement maintains that we are going to participate in disclosure of financial details. And the financial neutral is the one that gathers that information and basically puts it in a way that we can utilize it to reach a resolution. They might even produce some models of some proposed ways that the financial assets could be distributed, or what might happen if the house is sold versus if one party keeps the house. But their job is to provide us with options, not proposals. I think that's a good way of looking at it.
And the end result here is different from going to court in that a judge tells you the end result, but in a collaborative case, the clients are the ones who really craft the end result. Am I correct with that?
Yes, the clients control the process and the resolution. It is with a lot of helping hands, but yes, that is one of the major differences and also controls the timeline. There may be a need to gather more information, or maybe there's something that needs to be appraised, or something that, requires a little bit more time. And if both parties recognize that, then we know how to set the meetings to achieve those goals. But yeah, the process is definitely, you're not in the throes of trying to get a court date, which if you're in a city that has a busy family law section, then sometimes that, you might be ready to go and you go to get a court date and it's months off. And then that's difficult for clients to live with the unknown. Whereas if you're doing a collaborative divorce, then it's a matter of setting up the next meeting.
Emily, you want to add anything to that end result question?
Yeah, the end result, really one of the major benefits of doing collaborative or some of these other out of court models for divorce is that the clients are in the driver's seat of the decision making. And clients and families often find themselves in post-divorce litigation, meaning that they're going back to court years later to fight over decisions that were made in their original divorce when a judge decided it for them. And so one of the benefits is lowering the chances that you're going to end up in post-divorce litigation, but also this is your life. This is the client's life, and them can be empowered to make decisions that are going to result in a life that you can live with after the divorce. Now, no one gets everything that they want in divorce, regardless of the type of divorce path that you use. But if you are the one sitting there and making decisions on behalf of your own life and on behalf of what is going to work for your family, the great thing about collaborative is we take all of the unique situations and factors that apply to your family and find creative solutions that are going to work for you. Then you feel much more in control and you have ownership of those decisions. And you are building the next chapter in a way that you want to.
So the collaborative process, what attracted you each to this? Why did you decide this was an area that you wanted to get involved with?
Well, I enjoy mediation. So mediation is a process we practice in Tennessee. And I practice in Tennessee, and their mediation is required before you go to court for divorces. And that is a method that I enjoyed. And when I started practicing in Knoxville, the collaborative group they were doing a training, and I had been exposed to it when I practiced in New Hampshire, but I didn't join the collaborative group there. But I liked the idea of it. So when I saw that the concept was in Tennessee, I decided to take the training. And to be honest, it also attracts the attorneys that I enjoy participating with in divorces. If you are going to be collaboratively trained and hold yourself out, there's a certain mindset. And so I very much, even if it's not a collaborative case, when I have a divorce and one of my collaborative members is on the other side, I can pretty confidently tell my client, this will be a better experience than it would be with some other attorneys. So the type of an attorney that it attracts is appealing to me. And then the process of, again, leaving people with a resolution they can live with, I think is key. I want my clients to be able to avoid going back to court or going back to agreeing on something that could have been addressed earlier. And I think the collaborative process provides the opportunity to really look at a lot of options and fashion something that's going to fit a particular family.
Emily, how about you? How did you come to the collaborative world?
When I first started my career as a therapist, I worked with children, and through different relationships I made with attorneys that are now in this collaborative group, they started referring high conflict divorce cases to me, where I was the therapist for children who were in the middle of these high conflict divorces. And these parents were bringing the kids to me, and the focus was on what the other parent is or is not doing and the mental distress that those parents were causing the children. And it became pretty clear to me that it is not the children in these situations that are the ones that really need counseling and support. And I started to look at the effects of the court system on these cases and the types of legal maneuvers that the attorneys would make. And so when one of my colleagues said to me, "Hey, why don't you come to this collaborative divorce training?" I thought to myself, there's no way I want to be a part of counseling adults in high conflict divorces that are going through this process. But she said, just keep an open mind, come see what it's about. And so I went to the training, and there was a light bulb that went on that was like, this can be a part of the solution to keeping children out of high conflict divorces, to keeping them out of the middle of the stress and all the mental health issues that happen when kids are in the middle of these awful divorces that go on for years and years. And so that's what attracted me, is that I don't want to be a part of the system that is more damaging to the kids and the families. I want to be a part of the solution to that problem.
We're doing the podcast today in advance of Divorce with Respect Week. And Divorce with Respect Week is an opportunity for people who are facing the reality of divorce to do a free consultation between March 4th and 8th. If somebody were to schedule to do a consultation with you, and Melanie, I'll ask you first, how should they prepare for that initial consultation?
Well, initially, especially for a first consultation, I don't know if there is really a lot of I'm not expecting clients to necessarily come to me with a affidavit of their assets and debts. I mean, I really want to hear about kind of what they see as possible areas of conflict and what they see as things they can agree on. If children are involved, it would be a good idea to have in mind perhaps a schedule or something that might work for that family. But those are the kind of things. I wouldn't want someone that's coming for an initial consultation to feel like they have to do that much prep. I would be the one that would be asking, questions about kind of what issues are in their particular situation and what their goals are. What are the kind of things they're looking to come out of this with, and and also what they see as kind of the pitfalls, where they see we both want the house, or I'm not sure if we agree exactly on the schedule for the children. Those are the kind of things that I want to kind of talk with them about and get an idea of. I will be honest, when you're doing a consult for collaborative, there's a little bit of screening going on. You're looking to see if there are any barriers to doing a collaborative divorce, and things like if there's a situation where I feel like the parties really have lost the ability to communicate or trust each other on a very high level, that might be something that we talk about. But basically, I want them to have the opportunity to tell me about what their goals are and what they hope to achieve out of a divorce.
And I assume what that also means is that you're helping them to understand the different process options that are available to them.
That's right. Yes, of course. Yeah, like I said, collaborative cases, that's a tool, and I think that it's very effective. And again, the people that seek out collaborative divorces usually recognize that they have some level of communication they still have with their spouse. So that's good. But yeah, talk about the and what collaborative divorce involves. The neutrals that are involved, the divorce coach, the financial neutrals, and the process that we go through. And also something that's important, I think, is time frame, and what it's a likely time frame depending on what issues they have in their case.
So, Emily, if somebody's sitting down with a divorce coach in that first conversation, are there things that they should be prepared for, or how will you handle that first consultation?
So typically in the first consultation, I ask them kind of similar to Melanie's question, what are your goals? What do you want this divorce experience to be like? And I don't expect them to come prepared with a whole lot. A lot of people are, very anxious or uncertain. There's an overwhelming amount of information when they start Googling things. And so I just want them to show up, and part of it is me asking questions about their circumstances, about what has led to this point in their story, what is important to them, if there are any kids, and I kind of get a picture of where they are in their life and what they want this divorce experience to be like. And then I go into a lot of education about the different divorce options. And my goal in that first consultation is really to help them just figure out that next step. What is the next step that you need to take in order to move this forward? And that might be me talking to their spouse about collaborative divorce or different options outside of litigation. It might mean referring them to an attorney. It might mean setting them up with a financial expert. It's really, what is the next step? Because when we start looking at the entire big picture, that's where it gets very overwhelming for people.
All right. Melanie Hogue and Emily Hurd, thank you for joining us today on the Respectful Divorce Podcast.
Thank you, Tim.
This reminder that Divorce with Respect Week is coming up March 4th through 8th. You can get more information about Divorce with Respect Week by going to divorcewithrespectweek.com. You can learn more about collaborative divorce in the Knoxville area by going to divorcewellknoxville.com. And we're going to put a link to both of those websites in the show notes. I'm Tim Crouch, reminding you that collaborative divorce is a better way to untie the knot.